So we are living through very, very difficult times right now. Certainly economically, things are getting very expensive. Inflation is getting a lot better, but they're still at record highs. The job market sucks, and there's just so many different things that have been going on. People are getting laid off. There's a glooming recession that's expected to come relatively soon. Some people predict, or not predict, but they think that we already are in a recession. But the big idea is that the outlook is not very, very positive. So in today's video, what I really want to talk about is that the fact that because there was noted by a lot of news articles out there that Americans are now expected to run out of money by the very, very end of this year. This is a very, very dangerous situation to be in. We're definitely going to be talking about that. If you are someone that's struggling financially right now, know that there's just a lot of people with you right now. And the trajectory, because we're not headed in the right direction, it's expected to get even worse. So in today's video, what I really want to talk about is really just about the situation to what's happening, why it's happening. If you've seen another video about this, I'll put my own personal anecdote, so hopefully there's still something original to get out of this video. But hopefully the big idea is that it's just a very, very difficult time. So that being said, let's just get this video started on the spot. But as always, if you guys enjoy updates like this and videos, consider smashing the like button, comment, feel free to comment a story of anything if you guys have any in particular, or just really honestly anything. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell. And with that being said, let's get this video rolling and started. So to start this video, we really have to talk about the savings situation inside of our country. Now, the really, really good news is that it was noted by a lot of articles that most Americans do, despite the fact that many of them are living paycheck to paycheck, they actually do try, at least they certainly try, to save money. However, the sad thing is that the amount of money that they're able to save is so minimal to a lot of people that it was noted that by a lot of people, or a lot of news articles, that if Americans, or for most Americans, if something were to happen in the case of an emergency, most Americans would not even be able to cover $1,000 worth of emergencies at any particular given time. So this is a really, really scary situation to be in. And if you are someone that relates, feel free to leave a comment down below, because the idea is that this is the reality of most Americans. It's a very, very difficult time. Now, the big idea really is that while it's very, very scary, what makes this even more scary is the fact that as inflation rages onwards and gets even more expensive, it just becomes even worse. And that's the reason why we're living through a situation right now where, because the trajectory is going downhill, which is very, very scary, that's the reason why a lot of Americans, specifically about 49% of the Americans in our country, is expected to run out of money by the, or certainly have less money, to spend on themselves by the very, very end of this year. The big idea, what's really been interesting is probably to go on to the next idea, is really about the fact that because a lot of Americans are expected to run out of money, as just mentioned, but it was also noted by a lot of statistics that about 49% of Americans inside of our country have either less money or even no money in their savings account today compared to what was once happened 1 year ago, back when they were doing a lot of stimulus programs back in 2021. There wasn't a lot of stimulus in 2022, but there were still a lot of people that had money saved from 2020 and 2021 that carried over to 2022. Now in 2023, because of the increases in prices and everything getting so expensive, it's starting to hit them and it's starting to catch up. And the idea is that we don't want people to be headed in the wrong trajectory. Every single person should be headed in an upward, or at least should try to be headed in an upward trajectory where they're able to build their savings account and get richer and richer as the time goes on. But right now, that is not the case. For a lot of Americans, many Americans are now starting to get poorer and poorer and poorer. The trajectory is going downhill very, very much. There was a graphic that came out to show that the idea is that as prices are getting more expensive, wages are also getting better as well. But the rate that that things are getting more expensive is significantly higher than the rate that people are making more money. And because a lot of people are now starting to get laid off because of the tech layoffs, because of the entertainment strikes, because of just a lot of industries that have been impacted by what's been going on, it makes it even worse, because the idea is that the gap between what people need to survive and the amount of money that people actually physically have to survive is starting to grow and increase. And that's what's leading to some people leaving major cities as well, because of so much that has been happening right now inside of our country economically. Which probably leads on to the next point that's very important to talk about, which is going to be the fact that because a lot of Americans are expected to run out of money, to make matters even more scary and dangerous is that it means that a lot of Americans are now going to start to dip into their credit cards in order to try to rely on survival. This is a really, really dangerous situation, or even more dangerous situation. We've already used that word so many times, but it's because it's so true, and it's so significant, is that because if we are in the situation that we are currently in and people have to start to dip into their credit cards, to make matters even worse, it just means that people are going to now start to accrue interest rates because of the high interest rates as a result of inflation, to make matters even more worse, which means that people are going to have even less money going around. People are going to enter into even greater debt. People are going to have less money to spend as they, have that situation happen. The amount of debt is just going to increase even further because interest rates are so high. It's just going to increase even further than beyond what's already been happening right now. And that's really the situation and the reality. This is actually even more true because we recently had a situation where student loans have now actually resumed. It was paused for a period of time and now it's back, which means that a lot of people are now not only going to have to deal with credit card debt, but they're going to have to deal with increased debt of just other areas because of, the increased prices and everything that's been going on. But additionally, they're also going to now have to deal with the debt from paying off their student loans, which is now increasing even further. It was noted by a lot of people right now, and this is not from a news article, this is actually on a lot of college websites, that many private universities right now are charging about $80,000 for one full year of college tuition. It does include room and board, but at the end of the day, having to pay $80,000 every single year, or at least for 4 years, because typically people go to college for 4 years, they're going to be spending during their lifetime going to college. If you are someone that's going to college, or if you happen to be a parent of someone that's going to college, more than $250,000 off of just college tuition at many private universities. So the idea, again, this is not coming from a news article. This is coming straight from the websites of many private universities. If you literally just Google the name of a university and then tuition, you will see these numbers pop up. These are very rough numbers to really be able to absorb, and it's only getting worse with every single year, and with the inflation going up record highs even greater. Again, inflation is getting a lot better compared to a year ago, but it is still relatively high, and that's something that we really have to think about and try our best to solve. Now, while it is true that a lot of people are losing money, there is actually one opportunity to potentially make some free money, which probably leads on to the sponsor of today's video, which is going to be Moomoo. So Moomoo is going to be the sponsor of today's video, and this is a way to get free money. So if that's something of interest, definitely watch through for this, or you can skip, but it's up to you guys. But the idea really is that we don't normally have a lot of sponsors in our videos, so this is probably one of the first sponsors. Moomoo is essentially a trading app that, the quick insert really is that it's a really cool trading app, very similar to Robinhood and Webull. But what makes Moomoo separate and maybe a little bit unique is that aside from the fact that it's a little bit more hands-on and everything like that, what's really cool is that right now Moomoo is doing a promotion where if you make an account and deposit just $100, again, I know because obviously a lot of people are tight on savings, so you don't have to do it, but if you do have $100 to spare, consider depositing it into a Moomoo account and you'll be able to receive 5 free stocks. And if you deposit even more money, you're going to potentially be able to receive up to 15 free stocks, including a share of Tesla or Google, which means that you are guaranteed, if you deposit a certain amount of money, to make at least free money worth of over $100 worth of free money. So that's still a reasonable amount of money. I know obviously $100 goes very fast, but at the end of the day, free money is free money. And that's at the end of the day, it's also just a pretty cool app to use. I use the app personally myself. It's a great way to kind of just look at financial news as well. They always like send notifications about things that are happening in the stock market, in our economy. So I try to read those to get information, which is where some of the information I share with you guys actually physically comes from. So I use the app myself and I recommend it. So now moving back to the video. So the idea really behind what's going on is that we already talked a little bit about how everything is getting so expensive, but in terms of what is the prediction and the outlook going forward, right now at this time period, the outlook is really all over the place. It is very, very wild. If you talk to the feds, many people in the feds believe that we're going to run out of money by the very, very end of this month. So specifically by the end of October 2023. If you are someone that follows other news articles, there are some people that believe that we're going to run out of money, or that Americans, the average American, is going to run out of money by sometime around the spring of next year. So spring of 2024. But there's also a lot of people that believe we're going to run out of money by the very, very end of this year. And I think saying that we're going to run out of money by the very, very end of 2023 is a very, very good middle ground difference between all of the different predictions that are going on. The big idea is that the predictions, they're just all over the place right now. We don't know what the story is going to have happen, but we just know is that the trajectory, as just mentioned, is not going well. And that at this point, eventually at some point, many Americans, when they run out of money, it's just going to lead to even more difficult financial situations. And it's going to potentially lead to a recession if we are not already in a recession, like a lot of people say. So the idea really is that we just have to see what physically happens. But right now, the sad news, I wish I could give more positive news, is that it just doesn't look very bright. It looks very gloomy. And I think I wish I could have better news to share, but that's the reality of the situation. Feel free to share your particular stories, but that's really the story to what's happening. So with that being said, if you guys made it to the end, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, consider smashing the like button if you guys haven't done so. I'm going to leave a video that talks about how to save money if that's something of interest. So you can definitely check that video out. It's going to be somewhere around the screen right now. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, stay safe, stay well, try to stay employed, stay saving money, and hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again.